Hi, everybody. Welcome to the No Mo Survivor Series. Hi, everybody. This is Higgy, and welcome to the No More Heroin Survivor Series. The Survivor Series is an original product of nomoreheroin.org, and we showcase inspirational testimonies of people that have overcome seemingly insurmountable odds to live a life of purpose and destiny. People that are willing to step out of the shadows and rip their recovery out loud to give anyone out there struggling hope and inspiration to keep fighting just one more day. Now, you guys know my guests. We're streaming live to YouTube as well as Facebook on the No More Heroin Survivor Series channel. We're going to let the audience build, but I hope you enjoy this song by Nestor Nation. Let me get it queued up here. Booyah. This song means so much to me, and I'll tell you why after we view this. Boom. Please share this out, everybody. I'd like to welcome all the YouTube viewers as well. Hey.
How many times are you going to doubt yourself? How many times are you going to repeat the same mistakes before you finally experience enough pain that you want to make a change? How many times? How many times you gonna tell yourself you give it up? How many times you gonna write it down and rip it up? How many times have you invested in luck to find that penny?
Oops. Sorry, I had a call.
Heads down, we'll turn around and flip it up. Don't you believe in the fake? Now watch how everything just seems to fall into place. And you ain't even gotta try, it's like you ain't in the race. Cause every time you praise his name, you'll be receiving his grace. Embrace, now keep me from the wicked, protect me from the snares, and help me spread this message to anybody who cares. Cause I done wrestle with them lions and tigers and bears. I'm wearing the armor of God, intruders beware. How many times have you prayed in the name of? How many times have you shown in the same love that he shows to you? How many times? How many times? How many times have you prayed in the name of? How many times have you shown in the same love that he shows to you? How many times? How many times? How many times you gonna lie to yourself? How many times you been denying yourself? How many times?
You share this out, everybody.
How many times you looked inside of yourself and you're ashamed of what you see, but you don't ask for no help. You'd rather drown in misery and take that rum off the shelf. You pour another shot and blame it on the hand you were dealt, but you're forgetting about the pain that all your family felt while you were running in them streets like a slave for a bag of dope. Your parents worried that their baby might not make it home. They lie awake and they wait and they crying by the phone, praying that they don't get the call that the baby is gone.
Such powerful lyrics, my brother.
That I'm speaking is true. I only say it because I know it. I used to be you, but I done made it and I'm grateful I'm one of the few. Now I'm headed back just to say that you can make it too. How many times have you prayed in the name of? How many times have you shown in the same love that he shows to you? How many times? How many times? How many times have you prayed in the name of? How many times have you shown in the same love that he shows to you? How many times? How many times? How many times? Doesn't matter how many times you fail. Doesn't matter how many times you almost got it right.
So true.
People aren't going to keep track or care about your failures. Neither should you. It's more important that you learn from them, that you grow from them, and that you keep pushing forward. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many times you got it wrong. What truly matters is how many times you get it right. It doesn't matter how many times you've been beaten down. It doesn't matter how many people believe in you now. All that matters, you believe in yourself. Cause there's a reason that you're breathing and it's keeping you round. And everything that you've been going through is part of a plan. But I know it's hard to trust it and you can't understand. Believe me, we crash and we burn, we live and we learn. If you could only see the blessings that we get in return, you'd be like, I'll shine through the storm and the struggle. Dark times when I know I'm in trouble. I'll rise through the ash and the rubble. How many times have you prayed in the name of? How many times have you shown in the same love that he shows to you? How many times? How many times? How many times? Prayed in the name of. How many times have you shown in the same love that he shows to you? How many times? How many times? How many times? Never give up on yourself. Stop doubting yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will either.
Nobody else will either.
As long as you have air in your lungs, you still have a chance to get it right.
Boom.
Boom. How about that? So
You know
good.
what's funny is I'm in the same room where I shot that music video.
Really?
This is the same. Yeah, this is my room where I shot with the girl.
So good. So good. Such a good song, bro. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody.
It's got a special meaning to you, right?
Yes. I want to make a quick announcement before I introduce you. Okay. I'm giving away a Heroin's Grip DVD. Heroin's Grip, the documentary that just premiered in West Palm Beach down here. It's Conrad Weaver's documentary. Very powerful. And a F Heroin book from Denny Wilson. One viewer will win this. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Share this video. Comment done in the comments. And whoever's got the right number, Joe's already picked the number. We already have the number. Whoever gets that number or the closest to it, I will send you this F Heroin book by Mr. Denny Wilson and Conrad Weaver's DVD, Heroin's Grip, and 5 No More Heroin wristbands on me. Okay? Please share this out. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Comment done in the comments along with your number selection. Okay? We're going to make this interesting. We're going to have some fun tonight. I think Mr. Wilson is in the comments, and he is willing to give away some free books. If you're interested in receiving an F Heroin Keys to Winning on the Battlefield of Addiction, comment hashtag F Heroin in the comments, and he will pick several winners to send books to you. So be looking for a messenger message from Mr. Wilson for your address if you're selected. Okay, everybody, welcome to the No More Heroin Survivor Series again, and my guest is my dear friend Joe Nestor, aka Nestor Nation. We're going to be talking up about a couple different topics, but that song means so much to me because for those of you that don't know, last spring I relapsed and I struggled. And Joe called me, and I want to thank Brittany Kislich for making the effort to contact you. You called me while I was stuck in a hotel room. I wasn't willing to accept help at that time or give my location, but you sent me this song to give me motivation.
Yeah.
To keep fighting.
I sent it to you before anybody heard it.
That's right. And that it still chokes me up because it had such a powerful impact, and you knew that it would because based upon the lyrics, that's my life.
Yep.
So I want to thank you for that.
It's all love, Higgy, man. We've been going through it for years, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're like a brother to me, man. And I don't like to see my brother struggling, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm one of the people that will always be there for you. Just know that.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Done. Erin Quinlan knew my location, but she lives in Tennessee, and she couldn't get to me. But thank God I made it through that time, and I'm stacking days. Keep stacking days. You're a very powerful and influential person in my life. You're always willing to share your experience, strength, and hope with me. Give me encouragement, and you've never downed me. Never downed me. You just always built me up. And Faith was messaging me at the same time. So you guys hold a really special place in my heart because of where I was at that time. And
I never got why people like look down and down each other when they're struggling. It doesn't make any sense to me, especially if you've ever been through it yourself. You know, I suffer from the same thing that you suffer from. You know what I mean? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I would never down you or judge you for that. You know, I may give you a firm talking to,
that's right.
and tell you,
you
know, your areas of weakness, what you're not doing, you know,
Absolutely.
and why you keep repeating the same mistakes. But it's up to you ultimately to, you know, heed to that advice or those suggestions. And I'm proud of you right now, bro. Like I'm very happy for where you're at right now in life. You know, you're working the program, you're doing your meditation things. And it just seems right now, this go around, like you're more spiritual, you're more grounded and more balanced. So
absolutely, taking all the suggestions that I'd never followed through on in the past have been very, very important to me. You know, get to meetings, get a sponsor, work the steps, repeat. You know, I have a sponsorship family of men and women that work the steps. We do service together. We do H&I together. I chair meetings. I speak whenever possible. I sponsor guys. I actually took the initiative to start sponsoring guys, and that's something that's been missing out in my program. You know, that taking someone else through the steps.
Yeah.
So I'm working it, and I'm also I'm doing EMDR therapy for my emotional trauma, physical trauma and stuff like that. There's pieces of my puzzle that we're missing. And I know that a lot of people out there that, you know, suffer from the same thing as me and have fallen off. But
yeah, I mean, it's you know, when you have all that emotional scarring and those things, like, you know, it's much deeper than the surface level, you know, and people don't understand that, you know, the drinking and the drugging is just a symptom, you know. And I look at it like this, you know, when I went through the steps and my sponsor was, you know, taking me through the steps, he said one thing that, like, I don't know, here it is 7.5 years later, and it just stuck with me. It's like, you know, when we go through these steps and we're putting the work in, it's kind of like, you know, you're cracking your chest open, right? Because I ran for 10 years and I was homeless for 10 years and, you know, ripping and running in and out of prison. And I had a decade's worth of you know, scarring, you know, a decade's worth of just emotional trauma and things that I had been through. So when I was going through these steps, you know, the ultimate thing is, like, once we crack my chest open, I got that 10 years of gunk built up in me. And I just want to, the purpose of the steps is to get all that cleared out. You know what I mean? And why would I half-ass doing that? Because when I go to sew it back up, I don't want to leave any dirt in there. I don't want to leave anything in there, because what's going to happen is going to get infected, you know? So, like, I just made sure I was very thorough working my steps, and I still continue to do the things that they taught me in the beginning.
Yes.
You know, and I think it's very essential in maintaining long-term sobriety. So.
Absolutely. That's lived experience. What is your clean and sober date again?
December 18th, 2012.
And you just celebrated 7 years?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Woo! If you can do it, I can do it.
That's it, man. And if we can do it, anyone can do it.
Absolutely.
You know?
So what? I don't want to make this broadcast about me. This is about you. And what we decided we were going to talk about is, you know, talking about giving, you know, some examples of the hardships that you've had to overcome and how you overcame those during those trying times. And you remained clean and sober and productive through all of it, you know. And
I don't know. there might have been a week or two where I wasn't too productive. I'm just saying.
Well, you
But
were
I
working
remained
on your
clean
recovery.
and sober
Yes.
through all of it.
Yes, sir. You are a bona fide crackhead and heroin addict, correct?
100%.
And you did everything that you felt necessary above and beyond to maintain that lifestyle to get the next one, right?
Yes.
And you accumulated a lot of consequences, and one of those consequences culminated in you being sought. You were facing life in prison at one time for your drug and criminal activity.
Yes.
What were the events leading up to that?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was running the streets for 10 years. And when I say I was homeless for 10 years, like I wasn't couch surfing. Okay. I wasn't like sleeping at friends' houses. I was sleeping on the streets, underneath bridges and using cardboard boxes for a bed. And, I did, like you said, whatever it took. I went above and beyond to support my habit. And if it meant, stealing, then I was stealing whatever I could. And eventually that got me locked up. I went into jail and learned more hustles. Every time I went to jail, I learned more scams on how to get high and how to get over on people and how to get money. So I would come out a better criminal, and I would go right back to what I was doing. Stealing led to robbery. Robbery got me locked up. Got back out. Robbery led to selling drugs. And then I got caught doing that and went to prison. And it just kept, building, and I kept stacking these felonies up until I was a habitual offender, So like it could have been anything that could have landed me in prison, for the rest of my life because I was more than a 3-time convicted felon. I remember they came out with a new law for people who are shoplifting. You can look it up. I think you could just type in Joe Nestor shoplifting at Wilmington, Delaware, and you'll see the article about it. They wrote a whole article about saying I was going to be the first one charged under this new law for career criminals, for people who steal more than a certain amount of stuff, and they were trying to put me away for a very, very long time. And I don't even really know how I beat those charges, honestly. I mean, I do, but I don't really want to go into the long drawn out story. Basically what I stole, they didn't have inventory of because I stole it as it was coming off the truck.
Gotcha.
So they didn't mark it in inventory yet. So they didn't have proof of what I actually stole.
Right.
So I kind of beat it, by the grace. Someone was looking out for me. That's all I can say.
You can say God on here. It's okay.
Okay. All right. That's just who I believe in. That's my higher power. I choose to call him God. You guys, if you could choose to call him whatever you want. But here's the thing. Even into my sobriety, I had that black cloud hanging over my head from dirt that I did, in my years. Yeah. Because I was running with a group of buddies. We were robbing banks. And although I never got caught, it's funny. It's funny how my higher power works. It's funny how God works, because the day that I made the decision to come down to Florida and catch a train down to Florida and go into treatment was the same day my friends hit this one bank, and they ended up getting on a high-speed car chase across state lines. They got caught with the money, the drugs, the gun, everything. And they ended up serving a very long time in prison. They got football numbers, and that could have very well been me. But it's so funny. It's like almost like God came down, because the day before I got a phone call out of the blue from my best friend, same friend that introduced me to heroin, same friend that introduced me to crack, but he's now living in Florida clean. And he was just called me out of the blue, heard how bad I was doing, was like, Joe, I know what you're going through, and I know, how it feels to be up there all alone, and everyone is either getting high or reminds you of getting high. Everywhere you go reminds you of getting high. But I'm here to tell you, there's another way. And if you're willing to put the work in and try, I'll pay for your train ticket to come to Florida. So then the next day I was on a 26-hour train ride to South Florida with nothing but the clothes on my back. And it just so happened to be the same day my friends hit that bank and ended up getting caught. And it's like God was like, here it is. This is how the rest of your life's going to play out. You know what I mean? You have two choices. You can either make one choice and continue doing what you're doing and what you've been doing for the past 10 years, and it's going to wind you up in prison for the rest of your life. Or you can make a decision to do something different, to better your life, to go down to Florida, start a new life, get clean and sober. And I took it. I took that train, and I never looked back, man. And my life has become something that I could have never imagined in a million years. Like I could have never imagined the life that I have today. Even if you told me back then, I still wouldn't believe you. But here's the thing: when my friends got locked up and got caught, of course my name came up, and I had charges hanging over my head for years into my recovery. I had first-degree armed bank robbery charges, possession with a firearm by a person prohibited. I had all these charges hanging over my head, and I was wanted. I was a wanted man my first 4 years into recovery. And it's crazy because over the course of that 4 years, of course, I started doing music and I made a name for myself. I got signed to a record label and I was touring the country and had all these people looking up to me. But they didn't know the background. They didn't know that I still had that cloud hanging over my head. And it was a lot of weight. It was a lot. It weighed heavy on my chest. It weighed, but when I was doing my step work and I went over it with my sponsor, he told me, just continue doing what you're doing. Continue living right. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We make amends when and wherever we can. But if it's going to put you or somebody else in harm, then you hold off. You know what I mean? So I held off and I continue to do what I do. I continue to make a name for myself. I continue spreading, my message of inspiration and hope, right? And in doing so, I think it was 2 years ago, or it was close to 2 years ago, I finally got to the point in my life. I'd just gotten back from tour and I was like, I think it's time to turn myself in. I just got to face the music, man. And I got to live what I'm preaching. I got to do the right thing here, regardless of the consequences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I prayed long and hard about it. And I called Delaware. I called the state of Delaware. And it's funny because when I went to turn myself in, they were like, okay, well, when you left Delaware, you absconded from probation. So you need to call your probation officer and she's going to set all that up. So
Wow.
I said, okay.
Talk about collateral damage, right? And just compounding things.
It's just piling on.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm telling Faith, I'm telling my girl, I'm like, man, I don't know if I really want to do this.
Right.
Man, life is so good right now.
Seized up with fear. How did you walk? Man. How did you walk through that?
Honestly, this and this. Well, it's the back's falling off of. This is my original big book from over 7 years ago. It's falling apart. But here's the thing,
what they say though? They say that a person that has a big book that's falling apart is being owned by someone who isn't.
Oh yeah, this is my shield, man. I've had this for over 7 years, and it's kind of like the Matrix. You know what I mean? In the Matrix, you had the red pill.
Yeah.
And then you had the blue pill.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But in my movie, I take both pills daily. You know what I mean? And that's how I got through those things. I called my probation officer and I started rambling. I was so nervous. I started talking to her. I'm like, yeah, listen, I wasn't forced to come down here. I came down here on my own accord, and like I really did the work, man. I went to treatment. I went to a halfway house. I got a sponsor. I worked the steps. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Now I'm doing music. I'm impacting all. And I was like, you know what, Joe? Shut up. Just stop. I said, you know what? Go on the internet, Google my name, and look at all the magazine articles. Look at all the newspaper articles.
Yes.
You'll see for yourself. I don't want to talk anymore. You do it. So she hung up the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Calls me back and says, I'm going to talk to the judge right now. I'm going to call you back in about 20 to 30 minutes, right? Oh, no. She said she was going to call me back at the end of the day. She called me back in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, Higgy. And she said, Mr. Nestor, your slate has been wiped clean. All charges have been dropped.
What?
Continue doing what you're doing. And I was like, wait. So I was just wanted for first-degree armed bank robbery. I was just wanted for, possession of a weapon, a firearm by a person prohibited, whatever. I'm basically facing life in prison, and I'm willing to turn myself in. But now you're telling me the whole slate is wiped clean. I don't even have to come to court for an arraignment. I don't have to nothing. She said, Mr. Nestor, continue doing what you're doing. Have a nice day and best of luck. And I was like, wow. That moment right there is one of many other moments that just showed me that God is real.
Would you classify that as a spiritual awakening?
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, I've had a few of them.
Proof positive. I've had many as well, to different levels of spiritual awakening, something happening that's like, bam, here I am.
Right. Because I've never heard of somebody who's wanted out of state for not just misdemeanor charges. This is a convicted felon 3 times over, who has a rap sheet longer than the state of Florida. You know what I mean? I've never heard of somebody who's wanted for those types of charges to get them dropped, dismissed, and their slate wiped clean without even having to step foot into a courtroom, without having to pay 1 penny towards restitution or fines. Like, I've never heard of that. And I honestly didn't think it was legal at first. So I went on the internet and I checked my record. I did everything, and sure enough, everything was wiped clean. And it was just a very eye-opening moment to, just continue doing what I'm doing, continue to put my faith in God, because the only way to combat fear is with faith.
Faith. Yes. Yes. We talk about that a lot, in our private conversations, how God's in control anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Why stress ourselves out, trying to manipulate, and just, instead of just having faith that it's going to work out, just keep doing what we're supposed to be doing. And everything always works out, does it not?
Absolutely, man. The Serenity Prayer. Man. It just always has a funny way of working out. And another thing that was told to me early on in my recovery was, put everything you do into God's hands. And eventually, when you look back, you'll see God's hands in everything you do. And,
that's powerful right there, man.
And it's just the truth in my story, like in my experience. I don't even want to say my story. It's my experience, man. I feel like my higher power is just using me, and I feel him sometimes, and it's just I can't even explain the feeling, honestly, because I just look at things. I'm able to look back and see God's hands in everything that I've done, all the way back to, it's not a coincidence that the same person who introduced me to crack and the same person who introduced me to heroin would end up being the same person who paid for my train ticket to come to Florida, the same person who got me out. You know what I mean? We're still best friends to this day. I was actually just in his wedding last month. I was his best man. He got married to, man, it's just crazy.
Talk about coming full circle, right?
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence that when I did go into treatment, I finally made the decision to go into treatment they just so happened to put me into a room with another acoustic musician. And guess who that is?
Logan Bruce.
Logan Bruce, who now lives up in Ohio, sharing his story and his experiences through music, making a living off of it.
No, I was trying to surprise you and have him jump on here in the middle of this just to say hi, but he's actually in the studio recording now, and he sends you his love.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I really wanted to surprise you with that.
Yeah, man, Logan's a good guy, man, even though he ate all my Pop-Tarts in rehab. But I'm just saying, like, I can look back at these certain, pivotal moments in my life, and see that there was a purpose and there was a plan behind all of it. Even when I was lost, and consumed with fear, all I had to do was just keep doing the next right thing, keep putting the work, and just practice being better each and every day, and eventually the pieces of the puzzle come together. And looking back, man, it's like a masterpiece. Everything he has done has been for a very specific reason, and those 10 years of ripping and running, homeless in the streets, facing life in prison, it wasn't in vain. It was all for a purpose, and all preparing me and building me to be the person that I am today. And even reading the Bible, like I see the apostles, and I see people that they went to prison, and they persevered, man, and everything that they went through was for a reason, and God brought them out, and they had very strong messages to deliver, and it's just very cool.
That's awesome, my man, my dude, my dude. You're so genuine and transparent. People just love Joe Nestor because
because they're crazy.
They're crazy. They're crazy. They're crazy. Kindred spirits recognize each other, man. But you guys don't go nowhere yet. Joe's going to play some songs. I made a special record, play one certain song for me. But you have a new album coming out, do you not, my friend?
I do. Actually, I'm waiting on the mastered files right now.
Oh,
it's all the songs are recorded. Everything is ready to go. I was in the studio last week putting the final touches on my songs, and I was supposed to get the masters back actually today. But unfortunately, he had to go out of town for a few days. So I'm still waiting to get them back. But as soon as I get the mastered files back, I will be uploading them to my distribution company. And I'll have a release date here soon. I'll be posting it probably either over the weekend or on Monday.
I am so stoked because I've heard quite a few of them. And I think it's your best album yet. I really do.
I hands down, this is my best piece of work. Just the time and the emotion and the experience, all rolled up into one. Everything that I went through with the record label, being told, how I was supposed to be, who I was supposed to be, not really being able to share about my family.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now that I'm independent, I have a lot of music on there that I wasn't able to put out when I was with the label. So go ahead.
Are you able to share is all that stuff behind you now? No, still going on.
Still going back and forth in court and back and forth with the lawyers. But for the most part, a lot of it is taken care of. And the more that time passes, it's like, I just honestly, I look at them and I'm like, what's the point? Why are you even trying to drag this out?
Absolutely. It's just, he mishandled your talent. He mishandled the funds. He was just a poor representation of what recovery is supposed to look like.
That's it.
And
That's
every
it.
aspect. And Sandy Hickman made this comment and put it up on the post. Do not buy Joe's music from Raw. He has a YouTube channel. He has an Instagram. He has Facebook. He has CDs available. He'll have
Spotify.
Spotify.
I have Spotify and iTunes. You can go stream my music, listen to my music on there. But I mean, when you purchase CDs, when you purchase hard copy CDs from Raw, unfortunately, like the money goes to them. They own the rights to the music. They own the rights to all the music that I recorded while I was under their label. Now, my lawyer did say that if I want to, I can go back to the studio and re-record all my songs. I'm just trying to figure out whether or not that's really, something that I want to do.
Dude,
I'm moving on.
I know you're moving on and you're evolving, but to have a new version of the old good shit.
Yeah, like Faded.
Dope. Yeah.
Shower Me in Love. Never Gonna Take My Soul.
Never Gonna Take My Soul. That had such an influential impact on my life at the time. I had your CD in my car. I never took it out. Every time I got in the car and turned it on, it was Joe Nestor for months and months. and having you local, I got to go to shows. I got to do videos with you, and I got to get to know you, to know who Joe Nestor is, and you're just so genuine, so humble, so kind, so uberly talented, man. You have just scratched the surface of your creativity and your music making. I
appreciate that.
Your music has impacted people globally, all around the world, and I'm not even lying to you, and you know that.
It's crazy. I just very humbled. I can't even. Everybody over the weekend made this big deal, about this little boy Quaden, the boy with dwarfism.
Hey,
do you remember seeing that?
Yeah.
Okay, so look,
covers of Joe Nestor by Nestor Nation. That would be cool.
But this was a moment when I realized, wow, my music really is reaching people globally, right? Because there was a lot of controversy going on whether or not this 9-year-old boy with dwarfism who was getting bullied in Australia.
Yeah.
There was a lot of controversy about whether or not it was real. There was a lot of people saying that he was 18 years old and it was all just a scam to get money and sympathy. And listen, I'm here to tell you live right now, like, that's bullshit. Because I had friends of his over in Australia who are fans of mine who actually went to school with him and verified his age. And when I had fans reach out to me saying that, like, no, we actually went to school with him. Like, I'm like, wow, my music is really like reaching that far. Like,
Absolutely.
That's crazy. It's just, but yeah, Never Gonna Take My Soul, man. I just, that was the song that started it all. I remember writing that in prison.
The song you were talking about, let me go back real quick, was your anti-bullying song. Such a powerful, powerful song. The video you did in your car went viral. It's got like 3 million views right now. And it's so powerful.
Yeah, I think it's got over like 112,000 shares.
Hey, well, where are you all watching from? You remember, I pinned the comment. If you want a Heroin's Grip DVD and an F Heroin book by Denny Wilson, Keys to Winning on the Battlefield of Addiction, comment a number between 1 and 100. Share this video, post the number, and comment done in the comments. Whoever gets closest to the number that Joe picked prior to our broadcast, I will send you that along with 5 No More Heroin wristbands.
Faith isn't allowed to guess because she'll know the number.
Yeah, she was standing right there. If she wants a DVD, I have one for her.
All right.
And a book.
All right. Also, if you guys want to hear some music, you want to hear some live music, or even if you want to hear a live version of Never Gonna Take My Soul, share this on out. Share it out, drop a comment, and I got the guitar right here. So I'll go ahead and play a live version of Never Gonna Take My Soul. Just a little bit of background about that song. I wrote that in prison. It was during that time when I was facing a lot of prison time, and I was in a very dark place, probably one of the darkest moments of my life. And I just told myself, I'm probably going to be going away for a very long time. But you know what? Like, you can take my car, you can take the house, you can take my family, you can even take my freedom. But one thing that you'll never take is my soul. You can't take my happiness, because that comes from within. I don't care if I'm in lockdown 24/7. I don't care if I'm behind, prison walls. It doesn't matter. You can't take my happiness. So wherever I am, I'm going to be happy. So yeah, that was, and it's crazy how I wrote that in such a dark time. And, of course, here it is years later.
Thank you, Joe.
And I put that on my first album, and it went mega viral. And now there's people all over the world who they have those lyrics tattooed on them.
I was going to bring that up.
They have whole verses of the song tattooed on them around their arm. And I'm like, wow, like, I can't believe, like, this song, like, has really, like, moved people and inspired people that much.
And the guitar with a beard. That tattoo,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yep,
Was,
on his
that
neck.
was dope.
Yep. I think that was in the UK. Yep. Somebody in Australia has Never Gonna Take My Soul blasted on their face. I'm like, that's probably not a good move. You know what I mean? But hey.
Let them represent however they want,
man.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
your name is going to stand the test of time for a long time.
Oh man, it's crazy, man.
Yes, sir.
You want me to? You guys want to hear it? You guys want to hear this song?
Yes, we do. Please. This was my request to Joe prior to the broadcast. Please, Joe. Please, Joe. Please, Joe.
I'm gonna unplug my headphones so you guys bear with me. Are you guys there?
Yes, sir.
All right. I haven't played this song in forever, so hopefully hopefully I don't mess up.
You'll be fine.
But yeah, this is Never Gonna Take My Soul. My whole life has changed. Put away these childish games, living out my wildest dreams. Everything I've ever known, all the things I've ever owned, I'm gone and I'm all alone. But I promise I'll make it home. Take a trip around these stars, don't know how I got this far. Must have had a change of heart. I would talk to a brand new start. And I promise it's time around. I promise it's time around. Gonna make it out this time. I'm never looking back now, no. You can never take my soul. Even when I'm broke, it's freezing cold, no. I'ma make it out this hole. I'ma keep fighting till I grow old. I don't wanna lose this fight. Scared if I do, I might lose my life, no. Tired of losing sleep all night. Everything's gonna be alright, no.
No.
Yeah.
Countdown, marking off the days till I walk across the compound. You know it's on now. I'm in the clutch now. About to end the game. Cam Newton when I touch down. Getting money like a strip when the sun's down. You lucky I don't make you strip when I come around. I put the guns down. I'm having fun now. Put a little twist in this shit. Funnel clouds, throwing curves in the game like Fifth Lee. Swerving in and out of lanes in my fifth speed. I just slow it down, everyone missed me. Now the white boys up inside the whiskey. I think I'm dreaming out when they wanna finish me. Smart plus better rank, the risky. I paint a picture of a face like Da Vinci. Close to the safe, I'm too damn convincing. So you can never take my soul. I'm gonna make it out this hole. And I'ma keep fighting till I do. I don't wanna lose this fight. Scared if I do, I might lose my life. Tell them to sleep all night. Tell me everything's gonna be alright. No, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah.
Yo, throw up some hearts for Joe. Such a powerful song, and you did that perfectly, my friend. Perfect.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It is so good to hear you sing. You guys comment your favorite Joe Nestor song in the comments. He's got another song or two that he's going to perform. So one you probably never heard before, but it's really good. You know, like all of his songs are.
Yeah, I'm gonna play.
They like Homeless Hero for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a great song, man. That's each one of my songs. If you listen to it, every one of my songs tells a story. It's about a personal experience in my life for the most part. Homeless Hero was actually about somebody who I was homeless with. He was actually a homeless veteran. And he just ended up suffering from a lot of mental health issues. He never did drugs. He never drank or any of that. But I watched people day in and day out judge him as if he was just some kind of low-life addict living on the streets. They'd spit on him, step over him on the sidewalk. And I would listen to him. I would take time out and listen to his stories and listen to him. And it was just really sad, man, how, he had like a mental breakdown, lost his family, and nobody was there for him. You know what I mean? Here's a man who like risked his life for a country who in return couldn't even provide him a bed.
Right.
Couldn't even provide him a hot meal. And it got really cold out one night in Wilmington, Delaware. It was a state of emergency, and all the shelters were filled up. And unfortunately, he didn't make it in. And he ended up freezing to death. He ended up dying out in the streets alone. And it was really sad. And
so tragic.
Yeah. I wrote that song Homeless Hero with him in mind, and kind of like dedicated it to him. So
you dedicated a song to your grandmother too, didn't you?
Smiling Down on Me.
That's a good song too. Everybody, a lot of the comments I've seen Faded, That Ain't Heaven, Hold Her, Anxiety. I've seen a lot of Anxiety.
Yeah.
But
I actually just wrote an acoustic version for Anxiety.
Would you like to play it?
I'm really nervous to. I don't know.
Hey.
It's a little different than the studio version. I don't know if I'd be able to. I think I might mess it up, but I'll try it.
Okay, try it.
So actually, this is the song that I wrote while I was on my last tour with Cloud Gang. Rem One, B Rain, Kalichi, KC Makes Music. We went on a nationwide tour in October 2019, and I wrote this song about halfway through it. So, and it's gotten over, I think just this month alone, it's gotten about 50,000 streams.
Yes.
In its first month on Spotify, which is by far my best song to date. And also, I got a notification from Apple Music about 2 weeks ago saying it's my top song, that it's doing the numbers, like it's already exceeded every song I've ever done. It's the best song that I've done so far.
So if you have Spotify, please jump over and follow Joe Nestor Nation. Nestor Nation. Stream it.
Joe Nestor on Spotify.
Is it Joe Nestor?
Yeah, Joe Nestor on Spotify and Apple and everything. But on all my social medias like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, it's Nestor Nation. So
absolutely. So have you got any word on the tour and what the dates are?
Well, I do know we have half of it booked already.
Beautiful.
We have half the tour booked already for this summer's Never Gonna. It Takes a Village tour. We've added people onto it, so we got Casey Makes Music, Kalichi, Rem One, B Rain, myself, Jordan Meyer. I think Jacob Bain's going to be out there too.
Jacob Banks.
It's going to be an amazing tour. Like, seriously, it's going to be so much energy. And our last tour was a huge success, you know. And this tour is just going to blow it out the water. You know, we're going bigger and better. So
beautiful. I'm glad. I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah, man. Yep. All right, so we're going to try this acoustic version of Anxiety.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. All right, we're going to try it. Let's try it.
Guys are watching Nestor Nation Raw live.
Yeah, this is raw. Like, I've never performed.
Unplugged. Nestor Nation Unplugged.
Let's try it. Here we go. Nobody to run to, nobody to call, nobody to save me from this wrecking ball. Inside my head, inside my brain, controlling thoughts, driving me insane. So clip my wings and watch me fall, and burn through the sky until I lose it all. No, it's too late, there's no stopping now. I've tried a million times, but I don't know how. So I'm cutting the brakes, and I'm picking up the pace as my mind starts to race, and I'm trying to erase all the negative things I can't change, but my brain is all over the place. Really, I just want to stand still. I just want to live my life without them forcing me to take a pill. I don't really understand how I'm supposed to be a man in this land if I can't even handle. It's the little things that'll take in place to make me overthink. What's this all mean? What's this all mean? Is it all for real or is it all a dream? Nobody to run to, nobody to call, nobody to save me from this wrecking ball. Inside my head, inside my brain, controlling thoughts, driving me insane. So clip my wings and watch me go, and burn through the sky until I lose it all. It's too late, there's no stopping now. I've tried a million times, but I don't know how. I got nothing left to lose, and I hate to break the news. I've been sitting in my room for the past couple days, contemplating suicide, cause I feel like there's nothing left that I can do. I've been trying to talk, but no one listening. Nobody picking on my cause they hear the bullshit. They just label me as one of the cool kids. The problem is they're only on the outside looking in. It's the little things, all the little things that'll take in place to make me overthink. What's this all mean? What's this all mean? Is it all for real or is it all a dream? Nobody to run to, nobody to call, nobody to save me from this wrecking ball. Inside my head, inside my brain, controlling thoughts, driving me insane. So clip my wings and watch me fall, and burn through the sky until I lose it all.
it's too late, there's to stop it now. I've tried a million times, but I don't know how.
Whoa, that you killed that, dog. You killed that, man. So good.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I
good.
literally just wrote that. You know, something fun, just a different version of the song. You know, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
It's good, man. It's really good.
I'm real good, man. Real
It feel good. I can't wait to watch you and Rem do boosting together again. I love that. You guys are just so good together. You guys really need to work on that and do that song on tour.
And
That's that's my request.
All right. And you know that's another thing. Like I know earlier in the segment I said, you know, put everything that you do into God's hands, and eventually you'll be able to look back and see God's hands in everything that you do. And earlier I was talking about how now I'm able to look back and see God's hands in everything that I do and see his plan for me, right? So Rem 1 and I were actually homeless together. We were ripping and running in Wilmington, Delaware. And I actually met Rem 1 outside of the methadone clinic. You know, him and his girl were trying to get on methadone, and I was outside the methadone clinic selling heroin. And I actually became his dealer. And eventually, you know, of course, I'm an addict myself. So my supply, I messed up my supply. My dealer got popped, whatever. But I'm left with this habit. And Rem 1 had a car. So I ended up having him drive me all around the city, you know, shoplifting. And that's where the song Boostin' comes from. But yeah, me and Rem 1, we were ripping and running for a long time. And
ripping and running, something and gunning.
Yeah.
Black hoodies, black masks, getting to something.
You know, but that's the thing. Like, you know, we got separated. We got locked up at a grocery store one night, shoplifting, and he got extradited to Baltimore. And
was that when you guys tried to push the shopping cart onto the bus full of baby formula?
Oh no, that was another time. Man, there's so many crazy stories, man. It's just, but what I'm saying is, you know, Rem 1 got locked up and went to prison in Baltimore for a long time. I never heard from him again. I went down to Florida. I got clean, and I never really thought about him much after that, you know. But the thing is, God has a funny way of working, you know, because he got out of prison. He was clean. He was working the program, and he started doing music, sharing his story. And next thing you know, we find each other on social media,
right? And
we link back up, just like nothing ever happened. You know, most people when they're ripping and running, they don't really have friends. You know, they have acquaintances. They have people that they get high with, running buddies. But Rem 1 was different, you know, and excuse me. We developed like this bond, you know, and like we had this connection like that was deeper than drugs. You know, we actually got along. And after we linked back up, after like a few years apart, you know, like we were kind of nervous because we only knew each other when we were high, you know. But dude, when we linked back up sober, I flew him down to Florida and I got him in the studio. I got him like really started doing music again, you know. I hooked him up. And dude, it was like no time ever passed. You know, we were just like best friends, man. And now today, like I'm his daughter's godfather, you know. I normally fly up there for Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving dinner together. You know, we went on tour together. You know, we're traveling the country now. We have songs together. And it's just amazing looking back and seeing, you know, the process and the purpose and plan behind all of it. You know, it's just really cool, man.
Absolutely. So I want to read this comment to you. Stephanie Gonzalez says, I love you, Joe. I'm coming up on a year next month, and it's thanks to the work you do. Congratulations, Stephanie.
Congratulations, Steph.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Huge, man. Huge.
Awesome.
It's just that is a testimony to the power of your lyrics, your music, and the work that you do, you know, putting your heart and soul into your lyrics and the music. You're just so talented, and you connect with so many people on so many levels, with so many issues, man. So your lyrics are ambiguous and can be relatable to any of life's struggles, not just addiction, because the addiction is just a symptom of our problem, our human condition.
Exactly. And like this is the craziest thing. It's like, I'm not trying to be this figure. Like, I'm not trying to be this person like in the limelight. Like, honestly, like I'm just, when like you say and other people say, like, I'm just genuine, I'm just me. Like, I'm just sharing my experience with the world. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I play my songs with every bit of emotion, every bit of heart and soul that I have. I pour my heart and soul into every song that I do, because like, I don't want you to just hear the music. I want you to feel it, because these aren't just songs, that you want to hear on the radio. These are real life songs about my experience, about my life, and just the simple fact that like it's inspiring so many people, like it blows my mind, because at the end of the day, like I'm just me. I'm no different than anybody else.
Hi, Nick Juno. I see you. Okay, Debbie Swoyer, tomorrow by the grace of God and everyone on here, and Joe and many other people. I hit 21 months clean and sober tomorrow. Congratulations,
awesome.
Debbie.
Congratulations, Debbie. That's awesome.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. You got one more song you want to do for us?
Yeah, I'll do one more song.
What's the battery level on your phone?
Oh, it's plugged in. I'm charging.
Oh, beautiful. Hey, we got time for 2 more songs then.
Oh man, I got one more song in me.
Okay, buddy.
One more song, and it's on my new album. I actually dropped a little video of it. My buddy Ben Fisher, who was down a couple weeks ago, String of Hope. He recorded this while he was shooting a documentary on me. And it's called Reach the Moon. It's going to be on my new album, This Is Me.
You heard it first live here on the Survivor Series.
That's it. This is called Reach the Moon. It's basically about when, when life starts taking off and God starts blessing you, don't forget who made that happen, Hold on. I forgot I was in drop D tuning.
Hi, Nikki. Comments are coming. Hey, Max.
All right, here we go.
Up them hearts, you guys.
When all the dreams you're chasing finally come true, I hope you don't get too complacent, forgetting who made you. He was there for the lows, he'll be there for the highs. He could take it away in the blink of an eye. Life's a roller coaster, prepare for the ride. Don't you dare jump out before you reach the moon. Cause I don't care about the money in the bank, and I never cared about the women and fame. The only thing I care about is keeping my soul clean, living right and trying hard to be the best I can be. And I'll never forget where I came from, never regret the things I've done, all the obstacles I've overcome. They were thinking it was over, but it just begun. Cause I remember when I was alone in these streets, remember when I had nothing to eat, remember the times I wanted to die when everybody was laughing at me, remember I wanted to give up, I was too scared I would slip up, but I made it. I will say this to my haters when it took time, when all the dreams you're chasing finally come true. I hope you don't get too complacent, forgetting who made you. He was there for the lows, he'll be there for the highs. He could take it away in the blink of an eye. Life's a roller coaster, prepare for the ride. Don't you dare jump out before you reach the moon. But all the happiness and money brings, some things will never change. You're isolating, you're the one to blame. So you pick up this guitar and pluck away at the strings. But that's life when you're on the road. So don't get mad when you're all alone.
You want a wife and a happy home with a couple of kids that you can call your own. But you sit back and watch the years fly by. Got all the money, but you can't buy time. You told yourself that you'd be just fine, and now you trade it all back at the drop of a dime. But thank God for all the times you stayed and pushed me through.
Congratulations, State.
Congratulations,
Congratulations, Lacey.
Yeah, who knew we'd get so far? It's finally coming true. Tap dancing on the stars, we finally reached our moon. When all the dreams you're chasing finally come true. I hope you don't get too complacent, forgetting who made you. He was in for the lows, he was in for the highs. He can take it away in the blink of an eye. That's a roller coaster, prepare for the ride. Don't you dare jump out before you reach the moon.
Joe, we have a special request. You have to play one more song.
Oh, dude,
That ain't heaven. Guess who requested that?
oh, hell to no. Faith requested that.
Yes, she did.
Oh man, dude.
You love playing music, bro.
Yeah, but that's off my new album. I don't want too many people to hear it yet.
Just play a little bit.
You gotta remember it. Hold on. Hold on.
Just a teaser, bro. Just a teaser.
Hold on.
That last song was amazing.
Hold on. I can't remember it. I can't remember it. I'm sorry. I forget it.
Okay. He just made a face.
You guys will hear it on the album. I don't want to give you guys too much of my new album.
I don't blame you.
I've already released how many times. I got Hold Hers out there, Anxieties on it. Every Team Needs Twos on there. I have already released a snippet of Night Terrors, and if I play That Ain't Heaven, I feel like I'm giving away half of my album.
Okay.
You guys got to respect that.
Absolutely.
I want you guys to have lots of new music that you can listen to and enjoy and keep coming back to. I don't want to give away too much before the album drops.
Can you do an acoustic of It Takes Two?
Every Team Needs to?
Yeah. Or whatever you're comfortable with. I know I'm pushing it.
No, I'd have to put it in a whole nother tuning. It's in a different tuning, so
okay.
I can't really do it.
Night Terrors is really good too.
Oh, Night Terrors is an awesome song. The studio version kicks ass. It's amazing, man. I'm so excited for this album.
Thank you for what you the music and taking the time to be here.
No worries. I love doing this. I should do it more, but I don't because I'm honestly not a people person. It's weird how it works out like that. Like I have social anxiety. If you guys saw me on tour before I hit that stage, I look like Eminem off 8 Mile. I'm the guy that's in the bathroom throwing up, so nervous that I forget my own lyrics, just because I have so much social anxiety, and it's weird, man. It's just I don't know.
You're so good. You're so genuine. You're so honest and real. It's hard not to love a guy like you. You're a good role model.
Likewise,
you're a good role model for me. Thank you. You're a role model to millions of people at this point, for real.
Man, at the end, God made me this way. At the end of the day, all I can be is me. Why would I want to be anything else? Why would I want to be fake? You know what I mean? That's just not me, man. You know? So, I
believe a lot of us have social anxiety. I have social anxiety. I don't like speaking in public. I force myself to do it
Yeah.
because
You
once
force
I get,
yourself out of that comfort zone.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
and that's when
But
the
you
good,
feel so good afterwards.
that's when
you
the
know?
good shit happens, right?
That is like, I mean, dude, I get so nervous before I get on stage, you know, but like once I'm up there and I'm about like 2 minutes in, not even probably a minute in, and I close my eyes and I just like something happens and I'm at home. You know what I mean? And I walk through that fear. And then afterwards, man, I feel amazed. Like I feel so good. You know, it's all about walking through that fear.
And
know?
there's a payoff to that, right? The walking through fear. When you're so seized up with anxiety, fear, doubt, and things of the unknown, and you force yourself to walk through that, there's a payoff to that, right?
Well, that's where the growth happens.
Boom.
That's where the growth happens. Really, like change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. You know, if you stayed complacent and stayed comfortable your whole life, you're never going to grow. You know, and that's just the honest truth. You know, I don't know.
Hey, your hair's on point.
Hey, man, shout out to my barber, Freddie, Deltona, Florida. Hey.
Let me see if there's any comments or questions. Anybody got any questions for Joe real quick? We are well over an hour at this point, so we're going to wrap it up. I want to let everybody know that I'm going to be running music therapy tomorrow night on this page at 10 p.m. I'm going to put together a playlist of videos and stream it. So if I made a post on here, scroll down in the comments, put your selection in there. If I pick your song to add to my playlist, I'm going to give you a shout out during the broadcast.
Oh.
It seems to be working well. People, we all love music. Music is medicine. That's why I call it music therapy. Yeah. And I'm gonna be moving towards hosting my own online radio show next month. So stay tuned for that.
Are you connected with Dwayne and everything?
Yes. Radical Online Radio. He loves me.
Awesome.
He believes in me. He supports me, and he's
a good dude.
Yes, please go check out radicalradio.com. It's streaming live on my website, nomoreheroin.org. You can hit the website anytime and just hit the play button and listen to the show. Listen to the music. It's streaming 24/7 on my website. I'm doing some things with No More Heroin. We're going to be growing. We're going to be putting the events together. We're going to be helping people. We're going to be doing some things. So
that's awesome, man. And I actually just got a new job at Chapel Hill Detox in West Palm Beach, Florida. So if you guys have anybody, I normally don't do this. I don't usually post about it or say too much about it online. But if you guys have anybody who's struggling, if you or anybody you know is struggling with addiction, alcoholism, or any kind of like mental health issues, don't be afraid to reach out to me or Higgy or somebody else. Like, I'm more than happy to go above and beyond to get you the help that you need. So don't be afraid to message us. Like we're here 24/7. So.
Yes, James, I was at Soundstage in Baltimore. We probably met.
Was awesome.
Yes,
that was one of the best shows ever. The energy in there that night, Soundstage in Baltimore was, oh my God, dude. We had people flying in from all over the country.
I came from Florida. They're all across the country. They came, and
man, it was amazing. It was an amazing time, an amazing night of fellowship, good music, recovery, and even after the show, there was 2 homeless people, addicts, outside the show.
Yes.
And I remember sitting on the sidewalk with them. I sat there and talking to them, gave them some business cards, and I do want to say that I think they did reach out and get help. I just can't recall off the top of my head, but it was just an amazing night, an amazing experience. And
yes. How about when the Jam Halker band played behind you?
Oh, dude, that was for the
very first time you ever performed publicly with a band behind you, because you usually do acoustic sets and rap songs. You had a bona fide band behind you, and you just killed it.
Yep, absolutely, man. That was a fun time. I think we played a Kane Brown song, and somebody proposed.
Thanks, Mac.
Somebody proposed to that. But
yes.
Shout out to Jam Walker and the Jab, man. They're on tour right now, and they're killing it. You know what I mean? They just released a new album.
It's good to see our people, really doing well and thriving, not just surviving, out there doing stuff.
That's it, man. And
following and chasing their dreams. If we stay clean and chase dreams, we can do anything we want, right?
Yep, that's it, man. Seriously, man. I'm just so proud of everyone that I've been, associating with lately. It's really cool to see, God working in their lives. And,
Gloria, message me.
In all of our lives, it's amazing. God's doing big things, man. And you just got to put your faith in him and strive to be the best version of yourself each and every day. It doesn't happen all overnight. It happens little by little.
Thank you, Carlina.
Don't stress over the little shit. Don't stress, just.
It's so easy to get caught up and stumble over that dumbest things, you know it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Stress wants me to get everything done right away. It wants everything to happen right now. Right now. That's stress.
Right now.
Right? That's when I start stressing, right? But faith is knowing that everything will happen in due time.
You do the best you can with what you have to work with, and it all works out.
That's it. Develop that conscious contact with a higher power. That's key. I know we talked about meetings. I know we talked about sponsoring. I know we talked about step work. But the whole purpose behind all of it is to find a higher power. That's just
work with a sponsor. He'll put your hand in God.
That's it. Higgy, I appreciate you for having me on here.
Thank you, my brother.
It's a pleasure, man. I appreciate everything that you do for me.
I love you dearly. I love you
for others, man. It's amazing, and I'm just proud and glad to have a friend like you in my life.
Thank you.
Thank
you. That means so much to me. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. I will be selecting the winner in the morning. I'll go through the comments. I have to get off of here and go to bed. I get up at 5 o'clock every morning because I run I own a veterans company and I employ homeless vets. So I'm busy all day, every day. And I really just want to say I love you all. Thank you. And what's really good about these lives, not just having an amazing guest like Joe, but the interaction I see in the comments, people loving on each other. People struggling, reaching out. They get people, they build their network of people. And that's what we do in this thing. We love each other. We support each other. So thank you guys for being in the comments. Thank you for loving each other. Thank you for interacting. This has just been a phenomenal live. This is the best one I've done in a really, really long time. And I'm honored to have you as a brother and a friend as well. And I always got your back whenever.
Absolutely. We're survivors, man.
Survivors, bro.
Keep on surviving, man.
All right. Everybody, keep your head up and your chin down, man. Pray. Take care. Love you all.
All right.
Peace out. Love you, buddy.